This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with an old gas dryer. This is a Series 70 dryer that won't heat up anymore. So we're going to do a couple of tests. It has some pretty bad corrosion, but actually was working until one little part failed. So we're going to do a little bit of testing, figure out which part. So my suspicion is it could be the flame sensor. So this is a brand new flame sensor. I'm testing the continuity. And we have the auditory signal saying that when it's cold, it should have continuity between the two terminals. And I'm going to take this little spring off, get it out of the way. I'm going to reach in with a pair of pliers and remove one of the wires from the spark, or from the flame sensor, and I'm going to test to see what the continuity is like, to see if it's similar. So I wanted to see if it might be the flame sensor. So I'm pulling off one of the wires. Pliers make it a little bit easier. And then I'll put my probes from the multi-tester onto the two terminals on the flame sensor. And I end up getting the same result as the brand new one. So shows that there is continuity when it's cold, so I know it's not the flame sensor. So I'm left with two possibilities. It could be the igniter. The igniter glows, but it may not be getting hot enough to ignite the gas. And also it could be the primary and secondary gas coils. And they're pretty easy to change, so I'm going to change those out and see if that improves the problem. So I just have a Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm going to loosen two Phillips head screws. I have this little angle tool that makes it easier to get into a small space. So pull out that one Phillips head screw and pull out the other. This is also used in almost all gas dryers, have the same primary and secondary coil assembly. It's really easy to do. Pull off this little bracket that holds them, and then you're going to pull the two gas coils off of their posts, and then you want to just remove the modular connector. This one was really hard to get off. Sometimes they're pretty difficult. You can use a standard head screwdriver to gently start prying them off to start it, and then it's easier to take them off. So I finally got the connectors off, and then I just take my brand new primary and secondary gas coils and hook them on to the modular connectors, and then I'm just going to put them back on the post. Again, this dryer is pretty old, but it looks very old because of some rust. Here's the part number for the primary and secondary coils. They're pretty inexpensive. I put on my modular connector, just push it on all the way as tight as it can go, and then put it back on the post. So I'll do that for each one. Just make sure it's firmly secured. Here we go. So one has two terminals, the other one has three. Just make sure you're doing them correctly, have the right connector. So I'm going to put that back on the post, and then I'll put that bracket back on. And the bracket fits on and has little holes for the primary and secondary coils to go into, and there's a little indexing plastic tabs on the coils that help position them correctly when you have the bracket on. Put these two Phillips head screws back in. And to get to this, you have to remove the lower panel. On this dryer, the lower panel was so rusted it just basically decomposed. But usually you have to remove the lower panel by taking out either a few screws or by pushing down a few clips. So we got that in there tight. Got all our wire connectors back on, and we're going to see if there's any improvement. Here's the old lower panel. It's just pretty messed up. So I'm also, while I have this open, I'll spray a little bit of lithium grease. This is like a spray type grease on the roller wheel post.
Yeah.
Because this dryer was squeaking. So it's just really easy to do while I have it open. I'll lubricate those
You can return the favor.
roller wheels in the back. Also, I'm putting a little bit on the idler wheel that the belt spins on. Plug it back in. Make sure the door's closed and we have the timer set to go.
Yeah.
And then we'll press the start button.
Oh yeah. There we go.
See how it does.
Yeah, this design for the washing machine.
So that fixed it, and pretty easy procedure. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe when you get a chance.